Hi friends, welcome to match 56. KKR taking on RR at their home ground. Before we get into that match, a quick couple of thoughts around what panned out between DC and CSK, where CSK, again, the same story since what's been repeating since 2011. They put on a spin choke to DC in the middle overs, and again, the DC middle order crumbled. Again, your thoughts, Vishnu, around and how the match was and then the fantasy picks that you had.
Yeah, man, I think it was pretty much what we expected, right? The firstly, it just looks so set. I mean, I think Gujarat and Chennai have sealed 1 and 2,
Yep.
and that's gonna happen at the Chepauk. So I think Dhoni final is pretty much in place now.
Yep.
But yeah, coming to just this match, yeah, I mean, Chepauk is slowing down. I think I'm gonna hoard up on spinners a bit more for the
Hmm.
for the coming Chepauk games. But
Yep.
yeah, today was not bad. I had Marsh and Aksar as my captains and vice captain. Both did well. Marsh is seriously a gem, like either with ball, I'm sure even with bat, if not for Mr. Pandey, he might have scored some runs.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, looks like I think Delhi is now maybe first team, although they're still not out mathematically. But yeah, looks like they're the first team to be down
First
and out.
team, sure. Yep. I feel CSK, the lineup they have, every individual contributes to the team's cause, and that's what makes them so special. And I'm really impressed by Pathirana as well, the way he's bowling at
Malinga.
the death and his use the way that Dhoni operates in. So
Any team where Stokes is not able to fit in
yeah,
has to be crazy.
yeah,
Like,
has to be crazy, right? And I feel given the conditions, uh, the way Dhoni used Moeen Ali also today back to his like bowling 4 overs, that was phenomenal. But Delhi batsmen just couldn't keep going. All right. From that, we move on to another exciting game where KKR look like the team in form. They have won 2 games on the trot. I think for them, few players are putting their hands up and clicking across batting and bowling. Whereas RR, if you see on the right of the screen, I think a side which are struggling to uh, get across the line, win a game, and the fact that every game you have good 7 or 8 people not performing at all. The is This is a major sign of worry, and it's concerning on how they played, set up a very good total in the last match and still couldn't get over the line. So, what do you make out of the two lineups here, Vishnu?
yeah, man, I'm worried for RR. Like, first half, it looked like they're gonna, run riot, finish top two, but
Yeah,
out of nowhere. And it's if you see the colors on here, as you said, right, like all that red on the right is just alarming. Like a match where you just have one red is just shocking. But yeah, looks like it's directly proportional to Butler and to some extent Hetmeyer's form also, right? Like
correct.
they're just so reliant on Yashasvi
Yep,
that it's just not gonna work. They've had bad luck with Bolt going in and out of the team,
correct.
and yeah, somehow that incredible bowling lineup is just not coming together.
Yes,
I don't know what, like in terms of changes, they're all over the place, right? They crumbled in that game against Gujarat, and so they then got Root in, who didn't even need to bat because I mean their top three just whacked, but they still lost that game.
yep,
So yeah, it's worrying. I don't have high hopes, and KKR, I think I've pretty much done the opposite, right?
correct.
And it just makes me so happy to see 4 greens against Russell's name.
Yeah,
Again, the man's proving why he is considered one of the, or I think he was like I think there was this voting where he was voted the greatest IPL player,
yep,
which was a bit much, but yeah, I think he's almost there, and yeah, good to see him back in form.
correct.
And for all, as you said, right, like Nitish Rana and everyone just coming in and killing it. Like even removing Umesh, getting Harshit Rana in just worked wonders.
Yep.
I think Roy was like the best thing that happened to them. I think he changed their fortune quite a bit. So yeah, team of like very opposite fortunes over the course of the tournament.
Yeah. I think if somebody would have told me before the season that Yashasvi Jaiswal is gonna do bulk of the scoring for RR, I wouldn't believe them because he's known to be that aggressive opener, but I never thought that he could, have a string of such high scores and converting his starts into such explosive scores. And massively disappointed by how Butler, Sanju, Padikkal, and Hetmeyer have really gone about the business in the last 5 to 6 games. Uh,
Yeah.
they do not really hope a lot out of their order and the lower middle orders and the bowlers, right, to get the runs. But it's just a case that they always dig themselves a hole and they're not able to come out of it during a match situation. So let's see. I hope if the good part for RR is they have gotten good points in their kitty in the opening half of the tournament, and again they can bank on it if they can get 2 or 3 wins now going into the later half of the tournament. I see them making it to the top four, but there's a lot that hinges on this match and how crucial it's going to be for the fate of the two teams.
Yeah, it's pretty much a knockout. And
Yeah.
quickly, like, what do you think of lineup? Who played in that Loki visa spot in the
So
last game?
So they have started playing both Roy and Gurbaz, right? So
Right. Yeah.
so they play Roy, Gurbaz, Russell, and Sunil Narine.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they're only banking on majority of the bowling by Indian bowlers. And for me, I think it's really nice to see that the faith they are putting in the inexperienced bowlers in Harshit Rana, Vaibhav Arora, Anukul Roy, Suyash, right? Uh, that is the good part because they're giving them more and more confidence, and the senior likes of Varun Chakravarti, Russell, and Sunil Narayan, right? They're trying to make sure that they are really the guys with bringing in experience. I'm sort of started becoming a little impressed with how Rana is managing the team. The last game move against, like, where he bought himself on and got Dhawan's wicket, was turned out to be a
Yeah.
masterstroke. So let's see. They found a finisher in Rinku. Their team is sort of coming together well, gelling well. I think with Shreyas Iyer around, this would have been a deadly team. But again, with the resources that they have at their disposal, I think that they're doing a fantastic job right now.
Yep. And I think with that, let's go into it. Let's look at fantasy. I think it's interesting, right? Like it's not like we have Fafs and Kohlis and
Correct.
the obvious, but there are some amazing picks in this game.
Yep.
So who are the first names on your mind?
I'll go with Russell. He moves from being an X factor for a long time for me and gets into my pick for the all rounder. Again, bowling is something that he can still work on, and if he gets those overs, he can give you a wicket or two. But batting is his suit. If they are chasing, I look at Russell as someone who can really be that explosive Russell in the last 5 to 6 overs and chase down big targets.
Do you think he gets death overs, or do you think he's still that guy who comes for those early wickets?
I think his role that I look at right now is he bowls one over in the power play, and based on how that over goes is sort of his rest of the overs get decided. So what I feel is if he has a quiet over in the power play, picks up a wicket, that's like a bonus. But I still see him bowling an over or two at the death ahead of Vaibhav Arora. Harshit Rana
But do
is
you ever see him bowl four in a game?
no, 4 overs, no. 4 overs,
That's
I
that,
think that's the thing, right? Shardul Thakur does not even get to bowl in this team, and he used to be like
yeah, no, ridiculous.
CSK's death bowlers, right? Or the bowlers who used to bowl at the back end. So they have plenty of options, KKR. And I think right now, Russell, looking at the composition, I don't think he's getting him to bowl his 4 overs.
Yeah.
Who's your first pick if you have to get one into the team?
I think it's got to be Butler for me. I think the fact that he's found some form
Yep.
just makes him walk into my team because he's Josh Butler, right? He's the like the best T20 player I've seen in a long time, and the way he played last game, he was oozing confidence again. So yeah, I think again with KKR's inexperienced bowling, I think he uh, yeah, I think he's right up there. Yeah, and Yashasvi, man, like for sure, what a player.
Yeah.
Um, like I really hope he wins the orange cap. I
Yep.
mean, Faf doesn't look like he's gonna make the playoffs.
Yep.
If RR do, I think Yashasvi walks away with it, and I hope he does.
Yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing of Yashasvi this season. I feel wide ball cricket in India, right? There's always been a lot of competition for a lot of positions in our batting lineup, especially with the likes of Surya's, Ayers coming in the middle order. But I feel a lot of times we have seen Rohit Sharma's, KL Rahul's, and then the top orders position being constant, right? We've not had a lot of challenge for that position. And to see a young left-hand batsman coming and being as explosive at Yashasvi and as consistent as he has been this season, I feel sky is the limit for him. So he should keep attacking. He should keep sticking to his guns of explosion. And I'm certain I see him donning the colors of blue real soon.
Yeah, Yashasvi and Gill will be
Yep, Yashasvi and Gill. Again, I look at them as the right hand, left hand, Sachin and Ganguly combination. Again, I
true.
hope that that dream comes true.
Yes. Who else? I think again, yeah, Yuzi and Varun both, right?
Yeah,
Both have just, I mean, especially Varun has just been fantastic, not just fantasy wise, but in general, right? He's
yeah,
just
yeah.
coming in, turning games on its head.
Correct.
He's got man of the match like what, three times maybe, I don't know,
Yep.
but yeah, like amazing. And again, Eden Gardens is where again last match he got 3 wickets.
Yeah.
Um, and Yuzvendra Chahal again, he started tailing off in the middle,
Mm.
but that guy just doesn't stop. He's become IPL's highest wicket taker.
Yep.
He's, you like this season, if you think about it in retrospect, you're like, Chahal had an off season. But I
Correct.
think it's right up there. He's still in the purple cap reckoning, like 3-4 wickets
Yep.
behind the top. So yeah, I see both of them, especially on the spinning Eden track, doing well.
Correct. Like I feel he's sort of that underrated bowler who has, for a very long time in his IPL career, been under the radar. When you're looking at the top wicket takers in IPL, there are some extremely big names, the likes of Malingas, the likes of Bravo, Mishra, Piyush Chawla. Uh, he has been there for a long time and he has done consistently well. Like given the fact that he wasn't one of those initial starters when IPL was just finding its feet. So Yuzi has done a great job. And for me, the last game where they gave away the man of the match to Phillips, I feel Yuzi was my man of the match for 4 wickets and an economical rate where say both the teams scored in excess of 200. So uh, uh, on a pitch like the one that you have at Eden, I feel the long boundaries will come to his advantage, and then I'm sure he's definitely gonna bag 2 or 3 wickets given the circumstances that he has bowled in the last game.
Yeah. And so we've spoken about RR's openers, both terrific. What do you think of KKR's? Like I personally am a little worried with because I just see like Bolt and Chahal and these guys, and somehow Roy is still a little convincing, but Gurbaz, I'm not too convinced this game. Like I don't think he'll make his way to my team.
Yep. Gurbaz is one thing for certain with that guy is he's one of the most athletic keepers that I've seen this season. But batting wise, he's someone who has the tendency of giving his wicket away. So
Yeah.
he's not someone like, again, if you have him in your team, you'll keep looking at the game and you'll be like, he shouldn't get out next ball. So
Yeah.
he can
He's
give you those
Afghani
chances.
Saha.
Correct. Easy Afghanistan. But at the same time, guy has serious talent. If he finds his rhythm, he can back any bowler for a good two, three sixes and over. So, very, I feel he's a boom or a bust sort of a player. KKR would hope that, he flourishes, but I don't think he makes it to my team. But again, he's an explosive player nonetheless.
Yeah. And then I mean, continuing with the batsman discussion, right? This is where I think it gets interesting in terms of especially like Dream 11, because you have this bunch of super talented middle order batsmen in both sides, right? You have Rana, Iyer, Rinku in KKR. You have Sanju and Padikkal and Hetmeyer in RR. So I think in these six, what two would you pick and why?
I pick Rana for one is for his form, and I think the responsibility he takes as a captain. And I think I would then pick Sanju as my second choice, given he's getting those starts. He's around, finding good form, but he's away from playing that big knock. So for me, Rana on his form and even Sanju, what he's doing right, are the two of the bunch that you mentioned.
Yeah, I think Rana 100% agree. Sanju, I think purely PTSD, right? I like I've been playing both of us have been playing fantasy for so long, and just every year every match, after in the second half of the season, he just looks so good. He comes and he plays like three outstanding shots, and you'll be like, wow, and then boom, he throws away his wicket. And time and again he's done that, and somehow like I don't know, like I feel like staying away from him. I actually like um uh Venki Iyer for this game, like especially if KKR bat first. I think Iyer can be like an explosive pick, because I think he plays spin also reasonably well.
Yep.
So yeah, I just like him as a pick uh, in this game.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Hetmeyer going by form. I mean, he started the season really well, but yeah, 5 games, 5 reds. So yeah, a little worrying. But yeah, if Rajasthan bat first, he might be a decent shout. But yeah, there are better options out there.
Yep.
What about like the uncapped guys, Rinku and Dhruv Jorel and
Rink
uh,
definitely is my budget X factor batsman. Loads of responsibility. You saw Russell coming ahead of him last game for the match situation, but I'm certain when it's 50-50 call, they'll still go for Rinku. Can play you the big shots, can hold one end up if he's coming to bat a little early, giving you consistent 40s across the season, taking a catch or two every game. So Yashashvi is like a clear favorite, uncapped pick to have for this game. But I think Rinku seals that second spot. He's been amazingly he's doing amazingly well at the job that the team expects out of him.
and
And
last game Russell running in that second last ball,
correct.
and Rinku, they're like boss move, man. Like
Boss, yeah,
Rinku.
yeah. When someone like Russell says that, I know who's finishing matches and it's not him, then you're talking about a seriously talented player.
Yeah. All right. I think batsmen we've sort of covered. What about bowlers? I think bowlers again. We've discussed Yuzvendra and Varun. Yeah, Ashwin again. Spinning track. You never rule Ashwin out.
Yep.
And I think his X factor when it just comes purely to fantasy is with that RR middle order, just crumbling. I think Ashwin does get to bat, and he's a good
Correct.
batsman. Right?
He's a
So
good batsman. Yes.
yeah, that there's potential for him to come in early. If they lose two early wickets, Ashwin comes two down. You never know. So he's a very good X factor pick that way.
Correct.
What about Suyash? What do you think of Suyash?
So yes, one is I'm sort of still not totally convinced if he gets like if I'm 100% sure if he gets utilized in the team if say KKR are batting first. Uh, they look at Anukul Roy as well if say they have lost a lot of wickets, and at the same time say if he's starting in the team and he's bowling, I think he's not picking a lot of wickets. He's just picking a wicket or two every game. But still, in terms of looking at the uncapped picks and the points they sort of give you, Suresh definitely is the third choice.
Hmm.
Has impressed for that's a certainty, and then I'm certain he's gonna go for some good amount, come the next auctions. But I still feel right there is some bit of work that he can do, and even the way he gets utilized in the team that fantasy managers will be keenly looking at.
Yeah, agreed. But I think last game, right?
Mhm.
The recent game at the Eden, I watched him quite closely, and he bowled really well. Like he
Yep.
was very unlucky not to get more, and he also bowled like the 17th over
Correct.
or something, and that's where he got his wicket. But yeah, I mean he was very unlucky. So
Mhm.
I really like him as a pick, especially with again Rajasthan's currently fragile middle order.
Yep.
I like him as a pick.
Mhm.
What about the faster? What about the pacers? What about Trent Bolt? If he plays, it's still unsure whether he plays, but I think he's likely to.
Yep.
So, but yeah, what about Bolt and like uh,
So
Harshit Rana?
if I'm in a crunch of say making subs for my season long fantasy, I don't get Trent Bolt in. I know he's a threat. I know he gives you a lot of dot balls up the order, but I think we have discussed this in the past, right? His inability to say both control runs or pick up wickets in the middle and the death over is something that I feel he's not being as impressive as the Bolt of the past, right? Also, I've seen that Sanju has a tendency of getting his overs done by the 11th, 12th, 13th over. So he's not really bowling at the death. So he's giving you a maiden over or two. He's giving you a wicket at the top of the order, but he's not ripping through lineups on how he used to. So for season long fantasies, that's a challenge just because you're ending up making a transfer only getting like 30, 40 points out of a premium player. But for a daily fantasy, for anyone playing like Dream 11s, Bolt makes it to the team.
Yeah, I think one name which we all tend to ignore, but who's been looking good is Sandy, right?
Yep.
Sandeep Sharma.
Yep.
I think what happened with him last game was really unfortunate.
Yep.
Um, but nonetheless, I think he's shown his experience. He is definitely the go-to death bowler still for Rajasthan.
Yep.
Um, and he tends to pick up wickets in the death. So
Correct.
he's decent X factor.
Correct.
Who might yeah
Yeah, I think that's the thing with some of these guys, right? Who have played these onesies, twosies games for India, right? They if these are in the uncapped categories, they directly make your team. Otherwise, for a season long, you definitely look at whether it's a good transfer or not. So I feel that Sandy again they've shown great amount of confidence in him. He just gets out of that mental rut of what really happened or transpired in the last game, and then he sort of gets to his best.
yeah. And I think just because again this is a spinning track, one name again which we've at the beginning of the season was like in all our teams, but has just lost gas is Naren, right?
Naren,
Uh,
yeah,
Again, I think pitches have not been favoring him, but like yeah, Eden again last game he did bowl, but he just didn't look at his best. So I think yeah, agreed. He's a wait and watch.
yeah. I feel even with Naren, right? Um, he shows those signs of why he's considered one of the IPL's greatest, but he's not able to sustain that pressure for long. So from someone like him, you're not only just expecting runs to be controlled in the middle overs, but also heaps of wickets coming your way. So I think that's where he has disappointed the most. And with the bat, he just looks clueless. Like I remember in the past, whenever he was given the opportunity, it always used to be a case where he'd give you a good 25, 30 runs. So now he just looks lost for a ball delivery or two, and then just tries to slog and gets out. So again, Thakur, Naren, these guys are. I
Yeah.
thought these.
Thakur is another name again at the beginning after that blitzkrieg against RCB, I
Yeah,
think. He was in everyone's mind, and now I don't know. Like, I think he's just in the team for his lord status. Doesn't bat, doesn't bowl. He's just there. I don't even see him sometimes on the pitch.
and I
Uh,
don't understand whose decision is it to like have Thakur in a team and not play him, right? Because if
yeah.
if you have like someone who consistently makes it to the India white ball team and you're not even giving him like an over to bowl, a ball to bat, like I'm not sure that like if
And
that's
they've tried. I mean, they sent him one down, I think, in a game. They've
yeah,
tried all kinds of crap, and now they're just like, screw it. Like, let's just let's just have him. We'll see.
correct.
Uh, and I think one last name I wanted to talk to you about because he interests me. I think because of Yashasvi, Rinku, Suyash, all amazing uncapped picks. But what about Harshit Rana? I know you're an advocate. What do you
Yeah.
think
I
of
love
him as
that
a
guy.
prospect?
For me, I love bowlers. I love fast bowlers. I love, uncapped picks who have a lot of potential of giving you wickets in the power play, right? Any bowler who can do that is like an asset to have. And also looking at that, he's filling shoes for Saudi, Loki, Umesh, who disappointed so much, right? Like I think KKR lost a good 3 or 4 games because of their bowling lineup up front not firing. So Harshit Rana, I feel, is someone who has done really, really well. I used to love seeing Vaibhav Arora ball as well, the swing that he gets. But Harshit Rana is someone who's taken his opportunity and he's definitely on the rise.
And
So
who among these two bowls death?
Vaibhav Arora bowls two in the death. He's basically the more preferred choice, I would say, because Harshit Rana is a power play bowler. He get to bowl three in the power play and or three before the death. So
Yeah. And I think
whenever
that's one more thing which makes Varun Chakravarti that much of a better option, right? Like
correct,
KK, like he's like a death bowler and a
correct.
spinner. I mean, he might get hit, but he's just that much more likely to get wickets.
Yes.
It just makes him like
I think from compared to a lot of seasons in the past, Varun Chakravarti looks really hungry for success this season, right? He has done this thing in the past where he'd bowl 4 overs for 20, 25, not take a wicket and not really hold a responsibility in the team, but to cut down on the runs in the middle. But this season, at any stage of the game, the ball gets thrown to him. He comes, takes the challenge up, gets you a wicket, get bowls like a 2, 3 run over. The thing that he did with SRH, right? Like last 2 overs, 3 overs, he bowled like some 9, 10 dot delivery. So I really love on how hungry he looks and the challenges he's taken on this season, and it's coming off for him and both KKR.
okay. Okay. In the interest of time, let's breeze through captains, vice captains. Yeah, I
Yep.
think Dream 11 we've kept it simple today. We feel like this 11 is the strongest. So yeah, just take a look. But yeah, captain, vice captain. I think yeah, Butler safe. I think Varun Chakravarti probably is pretty safe,
Yep.
and I think even Russell probably should be safe.
Yep.
But yeah, any out there bold picks in your mind?
One bold pick I have for Eden's in particular is Nitish Rana.
Yeah.
Buoyant form, also a good offie, can bowl you 2 overs and pick up a wicket or two. So he's definitely my bold pick, and batting at 3 or 4 can always give you big runs.
Yeah. I think along similar lines, a bold pick in my mind is Ashwin.
Mhm.
Um, Again, I think he looks hungry a little bit. Uh, you know, more than he was last couple of seasons. So
Yeah.
I really like him, and I think Chahal again.
I think Chahal
Not
is
sure if
like
he's safe or
only.
yeah, but yeah, he's just an amazing pick.
Yep. And what do you think about Roy? Can he be the his destructive best at the top of the order and then give people big points? Like we've seen him do that, but again, he hasn't really uh, given you a massive score so far. So I feel up the order, if there's not a lot of assistance in the pitch, he can definitely take the bowlers apart. And if Bolt does not trouble him a lot, I don't think any other bowler in Ara's lineup would.
Yeah, agreed. No, he again, the ceiling is very high with him,
Feeling is
right?
very
And
well. Yeah.
he just looked really good so far. So yeah, I agree.
And since we have just put across one more column, do you think Samson makes it to this list? For
I'm not a fan, dude. So, but yeah, I mean, I wish I was a fan because he's just so good to look at. But I think that's why I'm not a fan because he disappoints so much.
It's so good to
Uh,
look at for a 20 runs, right? So, uh,
yeah, man. Like fantasy, I don't know. I mean, of course, he has days. He's scored many centuries, right? But uh, I don't know. Somehow, like I in the beginning of the season, I trust him, and then as the season goes on, I tend to ignore him.
yeah, it's always a love and hate relationship with fantasy managers and Sanju Samson. All right,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. I think this is the team that we have put out should fire and then the game tomorrow, and then you have the safe and bold picks for the captains based on our reading of the game. So we wish all of you best of luck, and then hope you rack up a bucket full of points for tomorrow's game.
All the best, guys.
See you.